Cities, communities, and towns throughout central North Carolina held ceremonies remembering the horrific events that happened 2 decades ago as if they happened yesterday.
CBS 17's Haley Fixler attended one local memorial service with a very clear message: never forget.
Where were you on 9/11? It's a simple question that brings back a flood of memories for everyone who was alive back then, as we remember what we were doing when all of our lives changed forever. That memory hasn't faded in 2 decades.
What so proudly we hailed at the twilight.
The news broke and we basically just stopped out everything we were doing, set up a TV, and everybody in the restaurant just sort of watched.
On a sunny Saturday morning, more than 100 people gathered outside of the Garner Town Hall, praying for the nearly 3,000 people who lost their lives to terrorism.
That is felt amongst the people of the town of Garner for their service and for their sacrifice.
I think it was the first time that I had actually felt true fear.
And reliving that horrific day 20 years ago.
So I was an off-duty paramedic in New York City on 9/11.
No one in this crowd, perhaps more than Glenn Daniels. While he never made it down to ground zero, so many of his friends didn't make it out.
I knew several people, paramedics I worked with, police officers I worked with that perished on that day.
Daniels moved down to the Triangle 15 years ago, each year attending memorials like this one.
Remembering those heroes, who they were, what they stood for, and the sacrifices they made on that day. I'm some of those people.
Oh, okay, so they're going to stay there. I figured with the whole band.
20 years, it doesn't make it any easier.
And each year he's encouraged that people are also determined to remember the day America changed forever.
We love each other and care about each other, and that we're willing to sacrifice for one another.
Knowing that those sacrifices made will live on forever.
Our kids actually aren't to the age to where they can take that in just yet, so we try to keep it broad strokes for now because they're so young. But as they grow older, I think the real gruesome tragedy of it all will continue to set in. It'll only do that if we as parents actively teach them over time.
Garner Fire Chief Matt Poole also really emphasized today that it's not just important to say never forget. It's really important to actively remember, to teach the next generation, and to share those stories of bravery and courage from that day. In Garner, Haley Fixler, CBS 17 News.